This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 132 of the Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network. Healthy Critters Radio is brought to you by Biostar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we discuss qualities we look for in an equine partner. In Patipedia, we focus on boredom breakers for an active horse. In Critter Nutrition, the focus is on histamine, friend or foe. And in Coffee Klatch, we choose dog breeds that have a sense of humor. Listen in. Hi, I'm Tigger.
And I'm Patty.
And I'm Coach Jen. And thanks for tuning in to Healthy Critters Radio. We meet twice a month and chit-chat and geek out on all things health, mental, physical, and otherwise for humans, horses, dogs, cats, bunnies, llamas, you name it. It's here. So thanks for stopping by. Yeah, there we go. And this is the part of the show. We always open things up with a little bit of a chit-chat. Before we start to record, invariably, somebody says, "Oh my gosh, what's the chit chat about?" Because we never plan ahead.
Yes, exactly.
Well, because we have horses, you can't plan ahead.
You can't plan ahead because we have horses.
I was like, duh.
And puppies.
And puppies. And puppies.
And puppies.
And puppies. So last time we focused a little bit on the new puppies in Tigger's life. We may touch briefly on them before we're done today because, hello, it's puppies. But this time, I thought we might focus a little bit on Patty's babies. You have a baby horse that you took out to WEF for the first time this year. Give us a brief synopsis of your baby horse and how it went in his first season.
Well, his name is Halstead, and I got him from two very dear friends of mine, Sherikosh and Bob Orton in Virginia. And I bought him because he had a pretty head. Yes, I said it. And you know why? Because he's proven to be a good dressage horse. I would never have admitted that had he not come to Florida and did a mic drop. But I got to tell you, this horse is so flippin' cute. And Tigger will tell you, I like horses with a sense of humor. And
yes, you do.
Oh my gosh, he is. It's kind of funny. After how many years I've been doing this, I was like, "Can you have another hard horse? I mean, is that something that happens?" Yes, my friends, it does. So we call him Little Baby Hal. He's about 17.2. He's just a big, wide boy, and he just loves life. Everything that he does, he loves life. I came down here really with the main mission of just really wanting to have, the correct balance. And, my coach and longtime friend and mentor is Kathy Conley. And she is so good about throughness and taking time and doing exercises, which I love. And we just kind of felt like he was in a good balance and he accepts things well. And I'm at this beautiful place called Eagle Tree Farm where I showed Tigger. Jen, you would love it. There's a tree in the off distance where an eagle has made a nest. And so every single day you can see the eagles.
Yeah.
A bald eagle. Yeah. Feeding it. Is it called fledglings? Is that right? Fledglings?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's 3 and it's just amazing. So the eagles fly below you and above you when you're walking around the property. Anyway, so we brought him out. I first brought him to White Fences, which, he's 5 and he's been a couple places in his life, but not many. And he just went out and handled it like just a trooper actually, I apologize. I went to Global first, which was kind of a big venue. And he handled that just amazingly and won all of his classes. But the funny thing, this is the first horse that I've never broken myself or had my daughter break or somebody that worked for me. And I left him with this wonderful girl in Virginia when I was moving back to Texas named April Trimmer. And she completely recognized that he was a bit of a character. So she taught him to smile. And so he will lift his lip up and smile when you point your finger up. I had one of the horse that I love dearly that Tigger can tell you about that did the same thing. But Hal, if you walk by and he's thinking about a cookie, he'll just start licking his lip. And if you don't give Hal something, he'll pick up a speed pen and throw it at you. Not kidding. It's the truth. I mean, he's just kind of a joke, silly thing. So anyway, he went to Global and just was adorable. And when we came out, the ring stewards were checking everything, and Hal thought it was treat time. So he just started licking his lip. And so the new standard for him is when you come out of the arena, the ring stewards give you sugar, or they'll give you a piece of candy or whatever they have. And that's pretty much how that went. So anyway, he ended up going to, after that, he went to White Fences and he won every class he did there. And the ring stewards did the same thing. It was just adorable. So it was a really wonderful first season for him. I only showed him twice. Of course, I want to keep him happy. And he's just the most adorable character. And I'm so happy that Tigger got to meet him because he's just, he's totally a mean horse, isn't he, Tig?
Yeah.
He's totally a mean horse.
100%.
Yeah. So he kind of came here and took some names and got some treats from people he didn't know. At the end of every lesson, Kathy would come over and he would smile at her and he would get a treat. so it was a really successful season for him. So
it's really neat that you're allowing him to stay young and fresh and keep the fun in his life as he starts his career, because I think it's all too easy to get down and dirty and serious. And obviously that horse thrives on being a big personality.
Well, and he's a big personality and he's a hell of a mover. I mean, he's an amazing mover. He's not ever gotten anything less than an 8 or higher on gates. And so, my big thing at this point in my life is I want to do the absolute best that I can with what I know, and the more I learn, the less I know, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just want him to be joyful. He pulls me to the ring, and I just want to, it's all about that for me. So I feel pretty lucky to be at this point with this incredible horse that I bought because he had a pretty head. I'm not embarrassed to say it. He had a really pretty head.
Well, and this is perfect because our roundtable today is what qualities do you look for in an equine partner?
Well,
and we know where you're going to start is pretty head.
Absolutely.
Pretty
I like
head.
me. No, amen.
Okay. Now that begs the question, Patty. Pretty head.
Mm-hmm.
What everybody's pretty head is a different pretty head. What defines a pretty head for you?
Oh my gosh. He just has the biggest, most beautiful blinky eyes. My friend Trina, here in the barn where I train out of, she said his eyes are so big you can hear them blink. I don't know. I just love big eyes. I don't know. It just does it for me. Big eyes. Big, beautiful eyes.
Big, beautiful eyes. She's a softie. How about you, Tigger?
Yeah.
I think what to me makes a pretty head is the symmetry of the ears, the eyes, the nose. I like bling on a pretty head, so a white blaze is always welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Or a white star or a snip between the nostrils. But it's how everything fits together that for me makes a pretty head.
So you like to be able to stand back and take in the entire.
Go, wow.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
How about you, Jennifer?
For me, I think a pretty head is all about the expression on the pretty head. Because I love horses with dishy faces. I love horses with giant Roman noses. Oh, yeah. I love, if anybody ever looks at Nigel's head, my horse, his head's shaped like Jay Leno. But I think it's a Jay Leno head.
That's funny.
But the beauty is in the expression that is on the face. because a horse's demeanor, his expression and his body and how he expresses himself using his body are the thing that speaks to me most about any given horse.
So taking that into consideration and Patty's pretty head designation, are there any other qualities you look for in an equine partner?
Any other qualities? Gotta have the right, I think, attitude, personality. I'm not too sure which word is. It's definitely the horse's outlook on life is absolutely paramount. I've learned the hard way not to be fooled by drop dead gorgeous.
Pretty face, but not behind.
Don't be fooled by drop dead gorgeous. And a long time ago, I was working for a trainer, and we were looking for a pony for one of the clients' children. And the client's children were the casual kid riders. They rode because mom rode. It wasn't really going to go anywhere. So we wanted to find them a nice, safe pony. We kept looking at ponies and looking at ponies and looking at ponies and couldn't find one suitable for these two young gals. They were like 9 and 12 or so. Finally came across a pony. Trainer brings pony home. This pony was the ugliest pony God ever created. There was no hair on its body that was attractive. It was put together by a bipartisan committee.
Yes.
In election year. It was an ugly mover. It was ugly. But you could literally put monkeys on this pony's back and he would do the hunter course. He would take them fox hunting. He would do the flat casts. He would go to pony club. He could do anything.
Wow.
Ugly as mud every step of the way. He was a horrible mover. I think he trotted with 5 legs. I don't know how he did it. And he carried these kids around, and it was a really tough sell. They ended up leasing the pony from the trainer. They wouldn't buy him because he was too ugly. They said, well, we'll lease him so the kids have something to ride until we find something more suitable. Well, by the time they found, the kids lost interest by that time, so it's just as well. And she said, there's no such thing as an old bad pony. How was that? No such thing as a bad, ugly pony. Because if they're ugly, the only way they get old is by being gems.
Good. Yeah.
Because when you're gorgeous and drop dead gorgeous, you can get away with murder as a pony, and they keep coming back. It's like, oh my God, he's so pretty. But when you're an ugly pony, the only way you get to be older is because you take care of people so well, people don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's that demeanor and the personality and the attitude that make them good as gold. And I learned the hard way a few times when I kind of fell for the pretty face, demeanor and personality and attitude. And after that, I like a horse that is has just a little bit of Arnold Schwarzenegger or maybe a little Iron Man in him, a little attitude, a little pushy. I like that in a horse.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because when Tigger was saying she likes the symmetry, I like him not. I mean, I like the conformation to be, balanced, but I like him to have stuff different. Like I always like, 2 white, front whites.
Oh, you like a little quirky, do you?
White behind. Because to me, I love, first and foremost, I love a personality. I really love them to, be kind of cute and want to play, sort of be a pet. But, it's so funny because, Tigger's one horse, Lion, he was a model. He was so beautiful. Everything about him was, he was just beautiful. And you can't not look at him.
And he was quirky.
And he had a great personality. Yeah, but it's so funny. It's so funny how people seek out different things. But yeah, so I like things to be a little bit different. Like I don't particularly like it when the snip is. I like it off to the side, which is kind of dumb in dressage because you really need the head and neck to be straight.
I can speak to that. Nigel has a stripe down his face.
Yeah.
It's all connected all the way from
Yeah.
the top to the bottom, and it's crooked, and it makes me crazy because every time that horse walks towards me, I'm going, oh my God, he's crooked. He's carrying his head weird. What's wrong with him? No, it's just his facial hair. Oh, makes me crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of fun. I think it's kind of fun. I don't know. I mean, it's not like this is already not a challenging thing, but I kind of like to have to work with the variables to make them look a little bit straighter. But
yeah. Okay. So Tigger, is there,
Yes.
can you nail down one thing that's a deal breaker? It's like there's one thing about that a horse can possess, one trait, no matter how insignificant, that you say, nope.
There are a couple.
Yeah, but you have to pick your one.
oh yeah, I'm like this.
A bad tail.
There you go. How about you, Patty?
Oh, you can fix that. Yeah. Well, it's funny because years and years, I've always been a big tail person, but you can fix that. I do like a good tail. I would say honest and truly, I think the number one thing for me is it didn't have a good personality, but then I say that and I realize there's always underlying things because most horses don't want to be jerks.
Right.
So I would have to say a extreme Roman nose would be hard for me.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me not to look at everything and think it's beautiful. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I have a genuinely superficial one. Genuinely superficial.
Okay. What is it?
I
can't
don't know
wait
how
to hear
much
this.
more
Okay, what?
superficial a bad tail is.
Yeah, I was going to say Tiggs
that is pretty
super, yeah, okay.
superficial. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't deal with one sock. Can't do it.
Oh, that's so interesting.
I love that.
Can't do one sock.
Oh, yeah, that's adorable. Yeah.
Just
I
it
love
makes
that,
me
though.
twitch.
It's so funny.
It makes me
Just makes me twitch.
Do you think you're type A?
I might be. I can have one brown leg and three white ones, but not one white one and three brown
Okay.
ones.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't do one white sock.
Okay.
You can have 2, 3, 4, but not
Interesting.
one. I'm sorry.
there's
I
an old
can
horseman's
get
tail. One sock buy 'em, 2 socks try 'em, 3 socks. Like the more white socks you have, the more bad feet you have.
Yes. Which,
Well, that's kind of true, though, Tiggs.
see, I don't,
yeah.
and I don't buy into it at all. I've had some horses with white feet that had fabulous feet.
Okay, but were they chestnuts?
And were they warm bloods?
None of them were warm
Or were
bloods.
they Yeah. Okay.
Most of them were
Just
thoroughbreds.
saying.
I have one Hackney pony with 4 white feet that's got fabulous feet. Yeah.
Well, that's Hackney.
That's the Hackney
They
part.
generally
Yeah.
have good feet, aren't they? Yeah, I was going to say. I think they're supposed to have
Their attitudes as well as their feet are very, very hard in a Hackney pony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Well, if you've got interesting personality quirks, physical quirks.
Oh, can I just say one more
Oh,
thing?
one more. Go ahead. One more.
We're sponsoring a cutting horse rider in California.
Yes.
And he did an article for us on what the qualities he looks for in a cutting horse.
Mm-hmm.
And the cutting horse people put more emphasis on the dam line than the sire line.
Really
That's
interesting.
Yes, and it's more about the mare because she's more dominant in throwing what they're looking for.
Really?
And I thought,
Interesting.
maybe we on the sport horse side need to start paying a lot more attention to the dam line. I mean, we always go with the sire. But she is by this, he is by that, and the mare is sort of like the and out of da da da. But in cutting, it's all about the dam.
It would be interesting to have Brandis on sometime and chat with him about
I should
that.
have him on.
Yeah.
He'd be great to have on.
Yeah, Brandis Langston. He's got a fantastic name.
He
That's
does.
first, that's a great name, right? That's a great name. Yeah.
It is. Cool. Yeah, let's plan on getting him on sometime in the next couple months
I'll
and
invite him
chat
so
about
we
it.
can talk about that because I found that really fascinating.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, cool. Well, there we go. All kinds of interesting quirks and traits that we do and don't like. And if you've got some, hop on over to Facebook and look up Biostar US and tell us all about yours.
Hello.
Hetty!
Hetty.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
You're in a good mood.
You are.
I am. I'm in extremely good mood, yes.
How come?
I don't know. I just woke up this morning after keeping the servant awake all night and thought I shall be the mere personification of canine insouciance today.
Oh.
Ah. So that is the perfect segue into our question.
Indeed.
Well, fabulous.
What qualities do you look for in a human servant?
Obedience, but I never find it now, do I? I mean, this one's submission score on a regular basis is a 2.5
Ooh,
out of
that
10.
is-
Ooh.
ooh. That's all you want is
It's
obedience?
appalling. Well, the traditional desire to serve is always pleasant. A wish to make me happy at all times. Oh, a desire to make my happiness the utmost characteristic defining that individual's life. My happiness above all else. Over alles. Why are you laughing, Tigger?
Because
Just
No,
because
she's-
you
she's
realize you're
coughing.
not
Coughing.
servant material?
definitely not. And I don't think servant material of your caliber exists.
Mhm.
So far, no, but I remain ever optimistic.
And what small weakness would you accept in a servant?
I would occasionally allow the servant to sleep if it did not inconvenience me.
Why
In
did you
any
keep
way.
your servant up last night?
Wasn't just me. There were others involved.
Was somebody sick?
We all ate foot at the farriery. And then we needed to go out 342 times between when we went to bed and when we woke up an hour before the alarm.
And that meant carrying all of you down the stairs.
Yes, so fun. And the servant is theoretically incapacitated in some ways or partially incapacitated, so she has to clutch onto the wall when she's walking down the stairs carrying two Pomeranians. So funny.
Oh my gosh.
That's horrible.
Wow.
You should see her trying not to die when my brother, the goblin, goes streaking down the stairs through her very feet. So funny. It doesn't endanger me, of course, but I assume the servant will fall to block my fall. She knows
Of course.
to put her body
Yes,
between
of course.
me and the stairs. So I'll be fine.
Of course.
And was this like vomit?
My brother just has to go outside every 2 hours, and he wakes up the rest of us, and then we have to go outside and sort of parade about. In a sort of fluff fest in the, midnight, 2 a.m., 4 a.m.
Oh,
time period.
I would so kill you.
You would not.
Yes, I would.
So are we
You
to
would
take
wish
from
you
that
could.
that little snippet of conversation right there, one of the traits that Hedwig looks for in a human servant is one that it does not have the desire to kill her when she keeps her up all night,
Yes.
right?
And
Was that
just
accurate?
I
I
like
think
to
that's a big factor.
Light sleeper. Light sleeper would be good. And also someone who doesn't require a lot of sleep.
yes.
Good to know.
or food, because half your food will be given to me.
There we go. Well, thank you very
And
much for
half will
those.
be given to my sister. So no food for you.
No food for us. Well, thank you for the pointers. And we're going to write all of these down and make sure that we take that into account next time we're looking for servants for
But,
Pomeranians.
for people who, think they might want to adopt a Pomeranian, many have lower standards than I do.
Okay.
So yours is the gold standard. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I mean, my sisters, Peas Blossom and Mustard Seed, seem to think that this servant is adequate. And my sister, Christabel, loves her, despite her many iniquities and failures
Well, thanks,
and shortcomings.
Thanks, Hetty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Keeping our horses happy and healthy is paramount to horse owners everywhere. Since our horses are often a reflection of the environment we create for them, the Stall and Stable Show covers ideas that help us create the best home we can. From innovations in barn design to business best practices and lifestyle segments. There's a new episode every 2 weeks at stallandstable.com, Horse Radio Network, or wherever you get your podcasts.
So we are at the Patipedia section of our program, and I thought I would reflect on some things that were a big deal for me this season in Florida, which is great ideas for the bored equine or the active equine, or one that likes to continually pick things up or throw them at you or whatever. Anyway, so my little baby horse, Hal, has... he's very oral, and he loves to pick things up and entertain himself. The problem is that when he's done with his hay, or he doesn't want to eat his hay anymore, what do you do? So the wonderful girl that was helping me this past season has a horse that's very similar. So we came up with a bunch of good ideas, and some I have done before, but some hopefully will be helpful for anybody that has a equine that gets bored. So what Hal will do is at home, if he is kind of bored and doesn't want to eat his hay anymore, he'll pick up his feed pan, and he'll just throw it at anybody that goes by. So what we have tried to do is different things for him. One is you can put a milk bottle or some sort of bottle, if you have laundry soap or whatever, I always rinse it out really well, and I'll tie it to a rope. And that's a fun thing to do, but that does eventually get a little bit old after they push it and squish it and whatever, but it's really fun for probably about a week. I've tried some rubber toys, which I've also put on a string, which has also been great fun for him, or a stuffed animal. Now, and of course, suggesting a stuffed animal, you have to make sure it's nothing that the horse, like if there's eyes on it or whatever, you don't want them to be able to ingest them. But that's also can be a great thing for them. I have done track cones, the ones that you can put up at the corner of your arena if you're doing, depending on what discipline you do. They can be a lot of fun as well. For Hal, all of these things that I'm suggesting ended up being a little bit of a boring thing for him. Old tires, which again, that's something that you can do out in a field if they get bored out there. But a couple great new ideas that I got from this wonderful girl that worked for me was pool noodles. Have you guys ever used pool noodles for the horse? And you have to be careful because you have to pool noodles. You know, the pool noodles that you can put
yes.
Right?
Okay.
Can I tell you how much fun that is? Lots of fun. Also, the exercise balls, great idea. I've not tried that with Hal yet. The one thing that I just did, which was a great idea, is, have you guys heard of I'm calling it a hay cube, but it's kind of a hay round ball that you put a bunch of hay in, and it's not to give them their daily their hay. It's to keep them occupied. This thing is sort of round and has a bunch of holes in it. That thing is awesome. You can hang it up or you can put it on the ground. Great idea. Just telling you if you
I know which one you're talking about. It's a hard ball, but it's got lots of flat sides. It's almost like imagine a giant-sized golf ball. And instead of having dimples, it has these fist-sized holes in it so that you can jam hay inside of it. Yeah. The nice part about those is they're super, super, super sturdy, so the horses can kick them and chew on them and throw them around, and they're indestructible. Sturdy. Yeah.
Yes. So the downside is if you live in the barn when they're banging them up against the wall, it can be a little bit loud. But I'll tell you what. So for me with little baby Hal, when we go to horse shows, he gets very bored very easily, and he'll start banging at the door. He'll want to go out, or he's used to being outside. So this, I'm hoping, is going to be a great tool for him. So two other suggestions I thought was such a great idea is carrots or apples in their water bucket, just to kind of keep them occupied for a period of time. I've not tried it, but that's something I'm definitely going to try. One of the girls that works for us, if you have automatic waters and you're worried about your horses not drinking from it, if you put carrots in them, they tend to go over to it and eat the carrot and start to figure out they can drink water from it. So that's kind of a great segue for that. But the last thing that I have is, have you guys heard of the Licket?
Yeah.
And now I have not looked into this. I don't know what's in the Licket thing. But if you hang that, if you're able to hang that in the middle of the stall, it apparently can provide hours of entertainment. And you can even hang things from it, like carrots or, whatever. And you can put it in the middle of the stall. And I guess there's a Licket thing that they can lick, but they really have to work at it. And I have to tell you, all of these suggestions were such great things because, being down in Wellington, when you're at home, the horses can go out as much as you want them to. And I love my horses to be out. But here you can't turn them out at night. So keeping him entertained was a challenge. And getting the hay cube was a big thing. But I have some of the other things I'm going to try when I go home. Do you guys have any, Jennifer, have you had stuff that you've done too?
Oh, yes, especially with Scooter, who lives in a dry lot. So we're constantly trying to figure out ways to entertain him. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we got, there's a website, the name of which doesn't come to me at this particular moment, but it is a collaborative effort amongst the staffs at zoos all over the world. And when they're creating enhancements for the habitats, they put them up on this website, free for anybody, how they made it and what it's for and what types of animals they're for. And they have ones in there for hooved animals like horses. So check out zoo.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. But one
that's really cool
that we did, and it's pretty straightforward and simple, and it's especially useful for horses who are bored but don't know what to do themselves. They end up standing still and chewing on the fence, or horses who are bored and afraid to do anything, like, oh my God, the whole world's scary. They've kind of lost that curiosity factor. Get yourself a whole crap load of traffic cones. I found the heavier ones work better versus the cheapy plastic ones that you use for children's soccer. I like the heavier ones better, but the soccer ones will work too. Get as many as you possibly can and put a tiny little treat of some sort, a piece of a carrot or apple, a hay cube, something that the horse likes to eat, under one, and you spread them all over the field, and you put a cube or something underneath each one. So they have to go around and knock them over and get the cookies. And
that's a great idea.
You do that a couple of times, and what they start doing is they go around and they get them all, and then they go around again, and they move them again, and they move them again. And what we started doing is getting really clever and shoving treats up into the tops of them a little bit.
Oh, wow.
So that when they knock them over, they get the treat that was on the ground. But then when they went over to start beating on it a little bit, then the treat fell out of the top. It was like, surprise!
Oh, that is brilliant.
That's great.
And it gets them moving around the field
Yeah, that's
versus
brilliant.
like because we've used the hay pillows and stuff like that. Most of the horses didn't seem to move around a lot, and that really made them move around because we spread them across the entire field, and that we found that
That's
to
a
be very
great
useful.
idea.
Yeah, that was fun. Now the field looked a little bit like the parking lot after cross country day at Land Rover, but so
Yeah.
That's one that we found.
That's
really
okay.
fun. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Tigger, do you have anything that you've had to do?
No, I feel really out of it.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to top Jen's. I mean, because that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Well, if anybody has any ideas, let us know on the Healthy Critter Facebook page, because it was kind of funny being in a different, a different place for me with Hal, and some of the challenges, just because he gets bored super easy, and he just wants people to, come by and keep him entertained. But if you have any ideas, let us know.
I think he needs a goat. Here we are at Critter Nutrition, and the topic is histamines, friend and foe. It's become very apparent that more and more horses are dealing with allergy sensitivities and respiratory issues. For the past year, I've spent a lot of time down the rabbit hole, examining the Western and Eastern medicinal approaches to allergies and asthma. As with other complicated health issues, the more I studied, the more research I followed, the more I realized there is a lot that isn't known yet, particularly as it pertains to horses. But what we do know, horses with asthma experience an imbalance between the chemical reduction and oxidation reactions in the body. Horses with asthma, the oxidation state is what is present. Asthma is associated with decreased antioxidant defenses, such as superoxide dismutase. The physiological roots of allergies are found in the inflammatory process from the oxidative stress. Allergies begin with the immune system. Allergic reactions, such as hives and food allergies, are the result of overstimulation of the immune system in response to a substance, such as a pollen or a specific food. When we think of allergies in equine, human, and canines, we often immediately think of antihistamines. But what exactly are histamines? Histamines are inflammatory mediators. Other inflammatory mediators you might recognize are cytokines, prostaglandins, leukotrienes, and reactive oxygen species. Histamine receptors are located in the central nervous system, heart, lungs, vasculature, sensory nerves, gastrointestinal smooth muscles, immune cells, and the adrenal gland. When the immune system interprets a harmless substance as an invading pathogen, it releases histamines. These histamines bind to specific receptors throughout the body. Symptoms of histamines bound to receptors are runny nose, watery eyes, tissue swelling, and constriction of bronchi. Histamine release increases vasodilation, the dilation of blood vessels, which then increases the permeability of the blood vessel walls to help immune cells reach the affected area. This process is meant to help rid the body of foreign invaders, but it can be harmful in severe allergic reactions and chronic inflammatory diseases. Histamines are important compounds, helping regulate stomach acid for digestion and responding to inflammation. Histamines are part of the body's immunoregulation function of the immune system. The role histamine plays in inflammation as a characteristic of allergies and asthma is sizable. Histamines in the inflammatory process released by mast cells as an immune response. Mast cells are multifunctional, tissue-dwelling cells and are a major producer of histamine. Mast cells also synthesize prostaglandin 2, leukotrienes, and cytokines, playing a major role in the body's inflammatory response. Histamines also play an important role in the equine stomach. Because of the sensitivity of the equine GI tract, the role of histamine in this region of the body deserves notice. Histamine is believed to impact at least 3 major gut functions: modulation of GI motility, enhancement of gastric acid production, and alteration of mucosal ion secretion. Histamine is the primary stimulant of hydrochloric acid secretion in the stomach, which is essential for the gastric stage of digestion. Secondary stimulants are acetylcholine and gastrin. Histamine and ulcer treatments. HR2 blockers, also known as H2 receptor antagonists, are commonly used in the treatment and prevention of gastric ulcers in horses. These receptor blocker medicines are known by various names: cimetidine, famotidine, and ranitidine. These medications block the histamine receptors in order to decrease the amount of acid produced in the stomach. However, proton pump inhibitors, such as omeprazole, inhibit the final stage of gastric acid secretion. Proton pump inhibitors are very effective at inhibiting histamine, acetylcholine, and gastrin. Histamine is also released from mast cells during an inflammatory response in the large intestine and can actually increase secretion and impair absorption by the colonic mucosa. Antihistamines are medications that are intended to reduce or block the effects of one of the 4 histamine receptors in the body. Antihistamines are H1 blockers or H2 blockers. H1 blockers like Benadryl, chlorotrimazole, Dimetapp target smooth muscle and endothelial cells, and H2 blockers like ranitidine or cimetidine antagonize histamine activity in the stomach. H2 blockers can reduce the amount of acid produced in the gut since hydrochloric acid is triggered by histamine. Common side effects of antihistamine medications are sedation and decreased coordination. A few horses get very excited on antihistamines, others can colic or have a loss of appetite. Corticosteroids, such as dexamethasone, are not histamine blockers. Instead, corticosteroids are potent anti-inflammatory drugs inhibiting prostaglandin synthesis and COX-1 and COX-2. Corticosteroids should be taken with caution. Luckily, we have nutritional support for allergies and asthma in horses. Quercetin phytosome is a flavonoid from the Japanese pagoda tree. It has been studied extensively for its antioxidant properties. Quercetin helps inhibit histamines released by mast cells, most often associated with inflammation. Resveratrol, sourced from fermented yeast, has been studied for its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant activities. Current research shows that it may decrease the release of histamine. Superoxide dismutase is an enzyme from melons that breaks down potentially harmful oxygen molecules known as reactive oxygen species. SOD, as it's known, constitutes an important antioxidant defense against oxidative stress in the body. Patented Boswellia serrata resin with quince fruit extracts supports anti-inflammatory, specifically the inhibition of 5-LOX, specific to the respiratory tract. This novel plant source extract of Boswellia and quince has been granted a license based on clinical trials from Health Canada to support respiratory health. It's obvious that allergies and asthma are complicated equine issues. Understanding the role of histamine is important to addressing and supporting horses with allergies and asthma. Coming soon, Biostar support formula, Allerex, coming in June.
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why Biostar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. Biostar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real food ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The Biostar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended.
And now we're at Coffee Klatch, and we're going to talk about dog breeds that have a sense of humor. And when I was thinking of this, the dog breed that first came to my mind was the Jack Russell Terrier. Because as serious as they are about going after varmints, I find them incredibly amusing little dogs. I think they are funny. Maybe they don't intend to be funny, but I think they're hilarious.
Are you laughing with them or at
they're
them?
Number one on my list. Number two is the Golden Doodle or Labradoodle. They're so goofy.
Interesting. I would
when
not
they're
expect that.
young, they are goofballs.
Interesting.
They make me laugh. They're like all this fluff that's bouncing around, and because it's part lab and part poodle, it doesn't really know what it is, and it's trying to figure it out. And they just make me giggle. They have the attention span of a gnat.
That's
true.
True.
They're just funny.
That's funny.
My parents had one, and it ran laps around the kitchen table, which happened to be round, and it just would run laps. I was like, what the heck are you doing? And he'd stop and he'd pant and they'd start all over again. And of course he went clockwise. I think they're silly. How about you, Patty?
I have two, and hands down, I'm right. I'm just going to say this because the funniest dog I have ever had continuously, and this is part of
I'm going to guess what this is. Breed. Okay.
Okay, you go ahead and guess. Good.
Frenchie.
Of course, hands down. They are the most comical dog I have ever had on a continual basis, because there's things that all my dogs have done that have been pretty funny. But Frenchies have a sense of humor, and they're referred to as like a clown dog. And I got to tell you, I agree. Some of the things they do are just, I don't know, they're just so hysterical. The way they sit, they sit, frog dog with their legs behind them, the noises they make, how funny they talk, like they sound like little kids when they sometimes howl. I don't know, they're just such a joyful breed, but just hands down the funniest. I would say the second funniest, and I have to say, Tigger, you're right about Jack Russell for sure, was I had a Brussels Griffon that was just the way their mannerisms were so funny, and kind of a little bit, not as much as the Frenchie, but just, again, had just sort of just a silly sense of humor, the way they sat, the way they asked for things, the way they presented them. Like everything they did was kind of funny. Not as active as what you were saying there with the Golden Doodle, but still just brought tons of joy. tons of joy.
I
How about you,
looked
Jen?
up what the funny dog breeds were, and they'd done a study,
Yeah.
and also what the least funny dog breeds are.
Oh, what was that? That's interesting.
Bulldog, bloodhound.
Really?
Yes, bulldog,
Least
bloodhound,
funny.
least,
Okay.
and
Okay, interesting.
like foxhound. And the
That's so funny.
funniest
Okay.
dog was the English Springer.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
I don't know that I would have said that.
And poodle.
I can
Poodle?
I can see poodle
Yeah.
being in there.
Yeah, I could see a poodle being funny. Yeah. I could see a poodle being funny.
Jen, what are your picks?
My pick.
Your pick.
My pick. I have a tie
Oh,
between the Dandy Dinmont Terrier
they're pretty funny.
and the Bedlington Terrier.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Because any dog
Okay.
who is
That looks
happy
like they
to wear
do.
those haircuts has got to have a sense of humor.
Ah.
Okay.
Is that not the
Well,
truth?
Well, then you have to.
No,
add the
yeah,
poodle
yeah,
in there,
that's pretty good. That's pretty
because the
good.
poodle cut for dog shows is pretty hysterical.
But it's outwardly hysterical. It's just versus the I think particularly the Dandy Dinmont. It's subtly
Oh, it's so funny.
funny.
It's just
And-
funny. Look,
Yeah.
And if you Google it, Dandy Dinmont Terrier is actually Marty Allen reincarnated. And if you don't know who Marty Allen is, that's okay. Marty Allen, comedian. Google it. Google image, and that's a Dandy Dinmont Terrier. It's right there. Yeah. And then I got down that rabbit hole, and then I realized that the Mexican hairless was designed after Phyllis Diller.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. Well done. Well done.
I didn't realize that until just today. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that! Who knew?
So you're educating through. That's so funny. That's so funny. I haven't thought of Phyllis Diller in forever.
There is a great quote about poodles from the comedian Rita Rudner.
I love Rita Rudner.
I wonder if other dogs think poodles are members of a weird religious cult.
So funny.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, that's
Afghan hounds
funny.
are Joan Rivers.
What?
Oh, well, yes.
Who knew? Oh my!
Yeah.
Stop. Turn off
Who
Google,
knew?
Jennifer. Stop. Turn
That's-
off Google. I needed a
Hysterical.
smile today, Tigger. Thank you so much.
You're so very
That was-
I needed
that was
a
good.
smile.
That was good.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Biostar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.